for episode number 13, the second season of the Storm Report. We're super excited to have you with us this evening. Tim Gosen along for this evening's festivities, and we're going to get an opportunity to talk a little softball. We're going to talk a little baseball. We're going to talk a little basketball. But we're going to start off by talking about the two people sitting next to me, and that would be the Hamlow Award winners that were just celebrated yesterday. So we'll jump immediately into that. Immediately to my left is Taylor Schleisman, the second baseman for the ACU softball team. And to her left, Paul Hayden, one of the guards on the men's basketball program. Taylor, Paul, welcome to the Storm Report, and I will just say it now, congratulations on winning the Hamlow Award.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So for those people that don't know what the Cliff Hamlow Award is, it is given by the Golden State Athletic Conference every season, and it's given to all 10 schools in the conference, and each school selects a male and female recipient. So there are 20 winners every season. It is not we nominate and then it gets voted on, and then you have one and then one female and one male. So it is a very distinguished honor because its focus is on the character. Cliff Hamlow, who started the Golden State Athletic Conference way back when it was an exception in the mid-'80s, and I know he was there last night for you. He was a big proponent in starting the Champion of Character program that we know in the NAIA today. He was on that committee, and he was on that group that came up with that core 5 values that we talk about all the time with all of our athletes. He was part of that, and so it just seemed natural that when he retired and we wanted to do something to honor him, that the Golden State Athletic Conference said, well, let's make it an award named after him. So the Cliff Hamlow Award is built on character. There's some athletic things to go with it, but it's mostly built on character. So Taylor, we'll start with you. You spend the night, and got to spend an evening at the Avenue of the Arts,
the
Hotel of the Arts or something, whatever it's called. Yeah. But you were out in Costa Mesa, so for you got an opportunity to hop on a plane because you played on Saturday, and then you hopped the plane with Coach Maven. I know Coach Casey was there, Dr. Dreyer was there, President and Dr. Munsels were there.
Yep.
So quite a people. So walk me through your experience of going to the Hamlow Award.
It was super fun. I was honestly really nervous because I didn't know what to expect, but I think having Coach there and his wife, Coach Casey, and the athletic director, and just all the support from everyone was awesome. But it was really fun, and getting to talk to other people from the GSAC conference, the players, it was just a really cool experience. So. Well,
Paul, for you, your visit was a little shorter. You played on Saturday at Hope International, and then you just stayed over with Coach Rudder, and then I'm assuming flew home with him yesterday afternoon or after the event took place. So Saturday, you're just hanging out after the game, and then you get to hang out on Sunday with all other members of the GSAC. How was your experience with the Hamlow Award?
Yeah, we were there since Wednesday as a team, played Thursday, Saturday, and then my whole team left, and I just kind of stayed there. My fiance and mom came up. We were just hanging out the rest of Saturday evening, Sunday morning, and then I didn't really know much of what to expect besides there's going to be a fancy event, nice dinner, and obviously the award ceremony, but it was a really fun experience. And then we drove home after, actually. Got home about 1 a.m.
Nice.
It was a long trip, but it was fun. It was worth it.
About 5 days away from home, or 4.5 days away. Well, kudos to you. And some of the accolades, I know Taylor's GSAC scholar athlete, all GSAC player herself last year. And then you read through some of the things that she's done. This is why they're getting the awards, folks, not for accolades on the field, but things like working at the St. Mary's Food Bank, working with the Salvation Army, coloring for kids, Habitat for Humanity. Those are just some of the things that were listed with your bio. Tell me about some of those experiences.
Well, we actually recently just got to do the St. Mary's Food Bank, and it was probably the funnest thing and most exhausting thing we've ever done as a team. So pretty much we stood in a line and all packed food in the boxes, and then there was someone packaging the boxes and then someone pushing the boxes through the tape thing. But it was really cool because at the end they let us know how many families we got to feed, and it was just really cool experience to do with my team. So.
Coloring for kids. That's not one I've heard of. What I got to know about that.
That was actually put on by someone here at ACU. We just went out to the pavilion and got a bunch of coloring sheets, and we sat out there and colored a bunch of coloring pages for kids, and then we sent them to them.
So a bunch of college kids sitting around coloring?
Yeah, it was college kids coloring for little kids.
Okay, so not little kids trying to stay between the lines.
No. Well, actually, we were still trying to stay between the lines, but.
Well, these were good colored pictures.
Nice. I like it. Multiple colors even?
Yeah,
you got
we
to
used
use
a bunch, like
two?
3 colors per page.
I like it. All right, so Paul, for you, some of your experiences have actually taken you out of the country. I see Madhouse Ministries here. I know that dealing with some basketball stuff. Tell me about your experience of you went out of the country for one of the things that was talked about with you at the Hamlow Award last night.
Yeah. So Madhouse Ministries is like an urban city youth basketball ministry, which is what I became a part of when I was in high school. Is actually how I came to know Jesus. And this last summer, I had the opportunity to go with the leader of that and one other college student, and we went to Palestine for 2 weeks, and like a mile from Bethlehem, and we're there. It's like major Muslim area, and we were there just basically teaching youth how to play basketball, sharing God's word with them after, and also doing some work with more of their older guys, kind of professional type players, doing the same thing with them, as well as getting to tour all over Jerusalem and Israel for about 2.5 weeks. So it was pretty amazing.
So they always say if you get to walk where Jesus walked, it's quite an experience. Did you get to do any, like, where like, oh, in John, he's at the Sea of Galilee, or he's wherever?
Yeah, so we went all over the place. And, like, I swam the Sea of Galilee where Jesus walked on. I was on the Mount of Olives where it says he's going to come back. I was in Jerusalem, all the places that he was. I was in the Galilee area at some of the synagogues that he preached at, and all these places. And what was amazing is that it was just a group of 4 of us, four or five of us. And what we did is every place we went, we stopped and read all the places in Scripture that talked about it or what happened here. Like we were in Capernaum and all these different places. So it was really an amazing experience seeing that stuff and really being able to read the stories that happened there, and now I get to visualize actually what happened and where it would have taken place and what it looked like instead of just trying to imagine it here in America. So it was really a unique experience.
That's awesome. That's always a trip I want to take, but I haven't gotten there yet. You also, though, have a heart for people right here, and I say right here, and I'm talking like right behind where we're
right
sitting.
In the room,
right behind us.
There, yeah.
You do a Bible study every night. We see this guy come through the door just about as we're getting ready to start the show.
Yeah.
Usually he's got a box of donuts. So far, those donuts have not made it to this table. I'm just saying, but he comes in with a box of donuts, and I know you were just telling me that Bible study is actually a conglomeration of some of your friends, but college-age people, but from other universities as well. So that's pretty cool. Tell me about that.
Yeah, so it's not affiliated with anything. It's not with ACU or any other type of ministry. It's kind of just something that we started about 1.5 years ago, just with the heart of, well, in a culture that says so many different things about God and what God's Word says, why don't we just come together and look at what it says for itself and let that determine how we live our lives. So it's really just a group of, my fiance is in it with me, and it's really just a group of probably about 15 people in total that come in and out. About 10 to 12 every night, really, and they're from GCU, from ACU, from just basically young adults that do life with together, and we just look at what God's Word says every Monday night, just to see what it says for itself instead of listen to what culture might say about it, where it could possibly be wrong. We're interacting with it on our own. Cool.
So, Taylor, I know you're involved in like some of the team Bible studies. Tell me about some of those experiences that you've had with your teammates in those studies.
This last year, I actually got the chance to work with Coach Chambers. And Coach Chambers had me lead a Bible study with my softball team, but it was actually more of a book study. It was called Winning the War in Your Mind. So each week I'd have my team read a chapter or 2 of the book, and then we'd sit together every Friday morning and kind of go through it and talk about what God's telling us through this and related it to softball more and kind of like the mental part of the game. So that was really fun for me because I want to be a sports psychologist, so I kind of got to work with my team through that book. So that was awesome.
Lots of psychoanalytics going on there. I like it. Fair enough. Well, for Paul, you're in your third year here at ACU playing on the men's basketball team, and Taylor, you're in your fourth season with the ACU softball women. So we got to talk a little bit about, your seasons. Taylor, you're just getting started. We'll start with you. Played this weekend. You're playing a number 13 team in the country. The results, we could talk about them, but what did you take away from this weekend?
I think it was really fun to watch the team from last year, how we started, to this year. We all came out and we hit the ball, and we hit it hard. We just couldn't find gaps, which is unfortunate. But I think playing a number 13 team, we held our own, and we didn't let them walk all over us. And it was fun because we never gave up, and our team, we were enthusiastic, and we love each other, so it was really fun to see.
Oh, good. Now you just have to prepare for number 7. No problem.
Yeah, no, we got it.
13-7 to start your season. You'll be facing number 7 Oregon Tech on right out there at the ACU softball field on Saturday. We'll be Friday, and we'll be out there for that. So as you're preparing for this week, tell me about your team morale and how we're ready to attack the Owls of Oregon Tech.
Well, this is more from Coach Mame, but
I'll have his shot.
This week I think it's just more focusing on having fun and relaxing in the box and just hitting the ball like we remember how to, not working on mechanics or anything, and just having fun and remembering why we play the game. So I think it'll help us relax and get ready for Friday.
Well, the softball team is just kind of getting their season started, just 2 games in. Paul, you're about 2/3-ish, a little bit over your season. Of course, I'm assuming there's going to be lots of playoffs on the end of that. So
hopefully
the 2/3 is a little soft number because I'm hoping that number extends on for a while. But the one thing that we do know for sure is this is your last week of home games.
Yep.
You'll be home on Thursday night, and you'll be home on Saturday as well. And then you hit the road for 3, and then here comes the conference tournament and national tournament we'll be calling. Obviously, you guys have been all over the top 10 rankings, even number 1, 5, 4. You've been there. So you still lead the conference by a game. What are you trying to get out of this last homestand of the week? Of the season.
So our philosophy is that the next game is always the most important game. We don't like to look ahead. We don't like to look back. But one thing, we're sitting nice. This last weekend was really good for beating Hope and kind of solidifying us as number 1 for the time being. So what we're really focusing on is just getting as good as we can be right now to work our way ahead for a conference championship. Getting better at the little things that might be costing us 2 or 3 possessions in a game, which in some of our close games, like we lost to Masters by 1 possession, we lost to Westmont in overtime, where those 2 or 3 possessions we could have gotten back could have given us 2 wins from our 4 losses. So we're just trying to hone in on those little things that will prepare us for the conference tournament, the rest of conference play here, and then ultimately the national tournament, where it's all up for grabs.
Well, the one thing that I would like to talk about is the Hope game. You look at the final score, 89-82. Mm-hmm. The guy on the end over there, he decided to pour in, what was it? I think it was 29 points. It was give or take a point. Yeah, it was 29 points. Career high for you. And one of the things, the number that I would like you to talk about, however, is you're 6 for 6 at the free throw line, and your team going 31 of 32 from the free throw line in that game. You win by 7. You start missing free throws. That's a different game.
Yeah.
So tell me about that experience of your team actually competing like that.
So they actually got it wrong. We went 31 to 31. So we hit 100% free throws. No one missed a free throw if you watch the film. So they did us wrong with putting one of those misses on there.
There's a stat in there that's wrong, is what you're telling me?
Yeah, it's not 31 to 32.
Because I just copied what I saw.
It's 31 to 31, and they had it wrong right after the game. But, yeah, it was really just a game of mental toughness where we've shot from the free throw line all over the place this season. And especially a game like Hope, like in the history of ACU, we've never swept that road trip. And Coach Rutter's never won it at Hope before, so that was a big time mental toughness type game. And for us to step up and hit 31 straight free throws in a 7-point win is great for our strive and kind of our momentum going on, and just shows that we were mentally there, mentally focused. And as far as the 29 points, that was simply just being set up by my teammates. Like, I'm just put in positions by Coach Rudder and his play calling, and people like Kevon and Trent and AJ and Dom and James and all these other dudes and Bryce and Sean and these bigs that are great passers. They just put me where I can shine, and I can just hit open shots, and that's my job. I feed off of them. And so it's really just a team where, and you've seen this, like any given night anyone can go for 20. And it's been all over the place. We've had so many different leading scorers. Like, it's not just one guy. So it's really fun to play on a team like that where it's just everyone feeds off each other. And if they shut down one person, we have someone else that can go for 20 just as easily. So it's really fun. I'm excited to see what we do coming into the postseason.
It's hard to get you guys accolades because you guys spread the ball too much. You don't have that guy that's the one guy averaging 20 points a game. There's like 6 of you at the 10 points and a couple more at 8 or 9.
We had 17 assists against Hope.
There you go.
Yeah.
So you guys are sharing the ball, and you're doing a great job. But I know it's about time that we get it wrapped up here for the first segment. But I just want to thank you and give you congratulations one more time to both of you. Well-deserved Hamlow Award winners. Something that you can look back. I want to say it's year like 10 of the award or so, 11, 12, somewhere in that neighborhood.
Something like that, yeah.
And so there's not a lot of people that can say they're Hamlow Award winners. Obviously, it's not where you're comparing yourself to somebody from Menlo or you're comparing yourself to somebody from OUAZ. It's just, hey, we're recognizing people in the conference that are outstanding character people on your campuses, and you two are our representatives from Arizona Christian. So kudos to you, and thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for being on the show. Good luck with the start of your season. I'll be out there for all of that, and I'll be there for at least 2 more games of yours.
Yep.
We'll see it all happen. But we've been talking with Paul Hayden on the far left and Taylor Schleisman here in the middle. Again, the 2023 Cliff Hamlow ACU Award winners. We'll take a break, and we'll come back. We'll stay on the turf, and we'll talk softball with Coach Mabin and pitcher Savannah Smith. Welcome back to the Storm Report here on January 30th, already almost to the end of January. I can't believe we're this far along in 2023, but we're in episode 13, and it's my pleasure to welcome head coach Mike Mabin of the ACU softball program and his ace from the staff, Savannah Smith, from the pitching staff here at ACU. Coach, welcome, and Savannah, welcome. Thanks for joining me.
Thanks, Tim.
Thank you.
So you open your season on Saturday, and you had an opportunity to take on some of your former people that you're very familiar with, College of Idaho, Oregon Tech coming in this weekend. Of course, that's going back to your ties of being at Southern Oregon. So you know the coaching staffs of the team, you know what to expect from the teams. But as the coach, you went into the season, you know, I've talked a lot about what's happening in the season, and you know you have some things you're looking at. What did you go into opening weekend hoping to get, and then tell me what did you actually get out of this past weekend, Coach?
I think we look forward to playing a very veteran team in College of Idaho. Oregon Tech has graduated some of those players that have experienced the World Series, but there's a lot of returning. So in a lot of ways, as we grow as a program, it's being able to bring teams in and being able to see those teams that have that poise and they've been there and they've done that and see where we are, kind of test ourselves and give ourselves an opportunity to start to show others that we belong. Like we can play with them. We can compete with them. Sav did a great job in the circle. Our team put the ball in play, made contact. I think Taylor said it right. Like we hit small hard and they just didn't find the holes, and they hit a few balls hard, and then they hit a few balls off the end or off the handle that found the hole and drove in a couple runs. So I know in the one inning that they got a couple of runs just looking at Sav and going, look, you just about broke the bat on one of them, and she just kind of muscled it into left field, and the other one rolls up the middle, and Claire just can't quite get to it to make the play. Those are great pitches, and that's in the long run. I get it that we lost a couple games, but those are victories for us, and it's going to help us prepare forward and start to improve on what we see. And we definitely have things to improve on for sure. You know, we talked about just little things that we can do better as a team and improve by the time we see Oregon Tech this weekend, but even more so getting into the GSAC, as we know winning the GSAC is going to be kind of where we have to get that berth and be able to get into the opening round.
Savannah, what did you take away from this opening weekend?
Obviously I would have liked to have won, but I definitely think it was good to come out and like see where we're at. If anything, the losses kind of made me even more hungry to come out better, more aggressive and all that kind of stuff, but I think we did well. I think we can win like the next couple games, obviously, so I'm excited.
Well, I think I sat next to your mom pretty much all of Saturday, so she was having a good time rooting you on and hooping and hollering and letting you know when you were doing things well. So it was fun to have her sitting there. It's always fun when you interact with the parents because I sit kind of in the crowd, and so I get parents that come up all the time, and you get to meet, you know, the Andersons, the Buckleys, and the Smiths of the world, and they come up and say hi all the time, and it's so much fun. So what did they tell you after the game? Like, what did your parents say?
I think, well, my parents know to give me a little bit of space after a loss, so we couldn't talk about it until like the end of the night, but my dad obviously talking to me about stats and all that kind of stuff, staying tall, working on my wingspan and all that kind of stuff, but they said I pitched well, the team did great, that C of I is a good hitting team. They're going to hit the ball, and if I miss my spot, it's going to go yards. So, you know, like learning lessons from that as well. But they said it was good. It was fun to come out and watch us play. So
there's two things that I've noticed about you so far this season. Number one, you have a number change.
Yes.
You went from 24 to 19.
Yes.
I had to make sure that I changed that in everywhere. And so there's a number change. We'll talk. You can address that. And then I noticed your windup seems to be somewhat different. I almost want to say I don't remember you last year putting your foot back as you were like getting ready to rock and fire, like in the sense that like as you're getting a pitch, your foot's like back. And I don't know who worked on you with that, but it just looked. I went, that's different. So. Tell me about the number change. What was that all about? And then tell me about what changes you've made as you're preparing for the season.
Well, normally when I'm playing softball, like 19 is always my number, but Kirsten Garcia had 19 last year. So now that she's graduated, 19 was available, so I kind of just snuck in there and got that. And then 24 was just a random number from last year. With the wind-up, I will say that I'm getting a lot lower than normal, like in that sort of stance, so my foot is a little bit more back. But last year it was like somewhat back, but I'm just trying to like actually use my legs this year, so I will say that it looks a little bit different, yeah.
Getting in a nice squat workout as you're getting ready to rock and fire. So,
absolutely.
Yeah, you're getting a workout in. So I know you have a new pitching coach, Tatum Porras, alumni of the program, coming back and now contributing as a coach to the program. And you talked about it before, that she's not too much older than you, so you were kind of like, I don't know what to expect. But what has she done to help you mature through the year?
Honestly, this our like relationship's really good. Like you said, I wasn't really sure what it was going to be like because we are so close in age, but I feel like she really actually understands me with all like my sass and personality. Like she's able to like handle all of it like with poise, which is awesome, and I'm able to like communicate super well with her, and I think she just adds more to our like pitching staff with her knowledge, like what she was able to do when she pitched here and all that kind of stuff. And we talk a lot about the mental game, which is super important, but I feel like having an honest dialogue with her is awesome, and I feel safe talking to her, so that's awesome. And yes, of course, I do miss Val from last year, but I feel like I'm in good hands with Tatum. Absolutely.
All right, Coach, you got a couple of new faces on the staff, Tatum being one of them. You brought in Brent Smith as a kind of a hitting guy last year, but he's now full-time, or not full-time, but regularly on your staff. We'll talk about your staff and the changes you made and what you're excited about.
Excited to just have a consistent staff that can be there every day. We've had 7 coaches at practice nearly every single day, and it allows us to have a big roster and have every one of our players getting a lot of reps. This year, Tatum being there every day is a huge benefit to our pitchers, where Val did a great job, but her job only allowed her to be there 3 days a week. So this year, Tatum's there every day. They're getting consistent workouts, and they're having consistent dialogue. Brent's having consistent dialogue with the hitters. I mean, you can't think of much better person to come and talk about being able to hit the ball well than the person who is the hits record holder here at ACU. So that was a good pickup for us. I remember standing there asking him why he wasn't coaching baseball. He said, "Well, they're off campus. I can't get there." I said, "Well, we have a field on campus. Come on out." So that was an easy sell.
That's how the steal happened. I like it. I like it.
An easy sell. And then we picked up Aubrey Ledbetter to coach our catchers, and that really was a Jimmy Gutierrez find. And Jimmy knew Aubrey and knew that she'd moved back from South Florida to her hometown, and grew up in Cave Creek, and now she's here on our staff and doing a fantastic job. It's really nice to have a catching coach we have 5 catchers this year, which we did not have last year, 5 healthy catchers, and so it's been really nice to have her. And then the family dynamic of having my wife Casey and Taylor and my daughter coaching with us as well, and Zach, who is he's great, he's amazing.
We love Zach.
We're going to throw a little bit of just how much we appreciate all the work he does. He took care of our dugouts, and everything looks really nice. He carries equipment, and then if you need a machine fed or anything you need, he just does it. So he does a great job. He's learning about fast pitch softball as he goes and having a good time. So it's been a lot of fun to work with his staff. The youngest staff I've worked with in my time, so I'm learning how to be the older veteran and kind of share some wisdom there, and so it's pretty much done because I've given them everything I've got at this point.
You got more than you're giving them, I know. You failed to mention, by the way, that Zach's the son-in-law. So lots of family dynamic going on with the Mabrins. But it just seems to be something that you've always done. You and your wife Casey have coached for a long time together. You know, going back to the Wall of Fame at your old alma mater, high school. That's because of your work together. Taylor played for you as a player at Southern Oregon and even through some of the high school ranks. So this isn't just where you've decided, I'm just going to have it's easier to have my family come along. Yeah. So I know that they have an impact, and Casey handles a lot of administrative stuff, and I can always tell when she does the lineup because I can actually read it.
Yes.
And then I can tell when you did it, and I go, what number is that?
There's a lot of scratches. Things were removed and changed when I do it too. So, yeah.
But as you're going into this week, how have you prepared for this week? Obviously, you talked about you played 13, you're playing 7. You get a random one-gamer with Park on Saturday. How are you preparing out of last week going into this week?
Well, I mean, at first, I think we do the things that we do and do them really well, and that's the primary goal. But one of the things Taylor mentioned earlier is just that from last week, we've been working a lot of really good mechanics and being solid mechanically, both hitting as well as defensively. And what we saw was in just kind of the adrenaline of the game was not just relaxing and just going and playing. And so this week, an emphasis on, hey, just see the ball and hit the ball. Just be really good at the things you've been doing since you were a kid, and go and enjoy that and go compete. And I think that's just going to free them up a little bit to go and compete against the number 7 team in the country. Oregon Tech, again, they've graduated a few of those top-level players, but they're bringing back and reloading every single year. Greg's got a fantastic program. So really, I think that's the component, is for us to be able to play a little bit free. We might have been just a little bit stiff in that first game, just trying to do everything as perfectly as we could.
Well, it's a long season. You have the opportunity to play these teams. So, Savannah, a question for you. When you're going in at the start of a season, you know it's going to be a long year. There's got to be somebody on the team that's like the jokester of the team, the player that's going to keep everything light. Who is like that go-to of like they're going to make us laugh?
I would say Neely Bell, absolutely, which is awesome because she's my catcher. So when she comes to like call timeout and be like, Sab, you like need to take a second, she always has something funny to say, whether I laugh at the moment or not. She's funny, but absolutely her. She's witty. She's funny, sassy. I love all of it. So definitely Neely.
So for those of you that weren't at Saturday's game, Savannah took a ball back off the foot, straight back, a comebacker right off the foot, and she got tended to, and everybody was looking at her. And there's one warm-up pitch that gets thrown, and before it's even in Neely's glove, the catcher that's warming you back up, before it's even in her glove, she goes, "You're fine."
Yep. Yeah.
Catches the ball and throws it back, and I'm like, okay.
Yep.
Neely's like, we're good. And so, and then you obviously you stayed in and went the whole distance and all that stuff. So when your catcher is that kind of camaraderie for you, that's got to be a big deal.
Yes,
I mean,
awesome.
They talk about the battery, the 1-2, the pitcher-catcher combo. That's got to be something that you just go, man, we got a good setup right now. So
Absolutely.
tell me, what does that mean when your catcher is on the same page as you?
It's just a lot smoother. I feel a lot more comfortable. It's just a lot more routine. It doesn't feel like awkward or anything like that. Like I trust her. I trust she's going to like block any of my bad pitches, all that kind of stuff. And she works hard for me and I work hard for her, and that's awesome.
All right. So Coach, as you're thinking about the season, what more are you excited about? Well, first of all, you had that trip, that bonding time. Talk about that real quick. That bonding walk marathon, my man JD back there, he got to be part of that.
JD
walked on that. So tell me about behind that and kind of what team bonding things you have for the season plan.
Yeah, we do a number of different things, but that in particular is the first days that we come back from the vacation. It's Friday night. Everybody's just getting back into their dorms. We have a big meal together, spend some time together, kind of review some of the things that we need to review just in terms of preparing for the season, things like that, play some games, enjoy a little bit of time together. And then Saturday morning, we get up and we take a journey together and really talk about how that journey reflects the season. And so we went just up to the Thunderbird Conservation Trail, and we did the Three Peak Trail. It's just under 8 miles. And at every stop, just talked about where we would be at in the season if you compared this journey with our season. We did reps. We worked out. The seniors shared their testimony with the team. They also talked about a core value that they believe we need to have a successful season. And I think that helps with accountability and players really holding each other accountable. It's coming from our seniors in this case. And they did a great job. Really enjoyed. There was a little bit of vulnerability in sharing your testimony. That's a hard thing to do in front of your teammates, and being able to share the moment that you came to Christ, but also some of the hardship and the hard things along the line. And, any of us know that up and down of your faith and your walk with Christ. And so really enjoyed that day together and worked really hard. At the end of the day, it got dark, so we had to get off the mountain. Couldn't be up there through the night. So we went and did an escape room together, and then off to dinner at our house and wrapped things up, I don't know, about 10 o'clock that night after a long day, a lot of work. They got Sunday to rest, and Monday right back at it. So we were on the practice field Monday afternoon.
A whole team escape room, everybody doing it together, or you broke up?
Yeah, they don't let you take 23 people in there. So we had to break up into 2 groups of 8 and a group of 10 and divide them up. But it was fun. It was fun. I sat outside. I was listening, and it was pretty comical to hear what was happening inside of the room, and and their competitive drive coming out to try to be the first team out of the room. Yeah. So
did they make it?
I should have recorded just the voice, the audio, and then I would have had something to hold against them the whole rest of the season. It would have been a lot of fun.
Yeah, you should have.
Next year, I'm going to.
Did they make it out to you, though?
They all made it out.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't quite remember what team was first.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Yeah,
I know we were last. Yeah, that's okay.
Well, I had the opportunity to do one, and we were in the last room, and it's one of those things where you're like, I think that's it. That's got to be, and then the time ran out. So I got to do one of those. So those are kind of fun. But Coach and Savage, you're headed into a full season. Of course, I'll be along for the ride for most of it, but good luck. Go get them. Take on the Owls on Friday, and we'll take on the Buccaneers on Saturday as well. Been talking with head coach Mike Maben and pitcher Savannah Smith. We'll take a break, and we'll keep it on the diamond, but we'll go from the turf to the dirt. We'll be talking with Justin Ramirez and Riley Quinton coming up right after this break. Again, thanks softball and baseball coming up next. Welcome back inside the Tower Grill on the campus of Arizona Christian University for episode 13 of season 2 here of the Storm Report. Tim Golson with you. We've had the opportunity to talk Hamlow Awards. We've had the opportunity to talk softball, and now we're going to turn it to the dirt and the grass and talk a little bit of baseball. To my immediate left is Justin Ramirez, and on the outside is O'Reilly Quinton. Gentlemen, welcome to the Storm Report.
Thank you. How are you?
Good, good. Lots to talk about. You guys had one heck of a weekend to start your season, 4-0 to start the year, and my goodness, did you guys bring the hitting shoes and the hitting bats and everything else, the pitching arms. You guys brought it, and including against the number 12 team in the country, Mid-American Nazarene, number 12, and you guys took care of them. It was probably one of your closer games that you played on the weekend, a 4-2 win, but still a win is a win. So I just want to point out this stat for you guys. As a team, last weekend, you guys hit, anybody know what it is?
A lot. Very high.
373 as a team. Wow. You guys hit 373 as a team. Now, the guy sitting to our immediate left and your right there, Mr. Riley, he probably had something to do with that average a little bit. This guy had himself a week this past weekend, and so let's get into some of that. Justin, your numbers from last week. And by the way, we're talking to the NAIA Ball Player of the Week. That's a website and a social media group that follows the NAIA Baseball, and they put out their own Player of the Week. Justin Ramirez, this was his line. 12 hits, 16 at-bats, a .750 average, 5 doubles, and just for fun, 3 walks and a hit by a pitch. So on the day, or a 800 on base, a slugging percentage of 1603, and an OPS of 1863. Mr. Ramirez, what a weekend, my friend.
Yeah, that was fun.
Did you, what were you eating? What was going on?
A lot of bacon, egg, and cheese for breakfast. That was the go-to for the week.
Okay, bacon, egg, and cheese. All right.
Chicken fried rice? Yeah, chicken fried rice,
to
too.
Start the day?
Well, to end the day.
Okay, wait. You're having chicken fried rice in the morning and bacon and eggs? All right, so obviously they talk about when you're seeing a ball like that it's like a beach ball out there. I mean, you must have been looking at just the hugest ball coming your way. It's hitting 750 in a weekend.
Yeah, it was pretty surreal to have that type of stat line, especially to start the season like that. It was definitely fun. 12
hits on the weekend, and for those of you that are keeping score at home, we've talked about, it was kind of mentioned in the softball broadcast, that part of the broadcast, that the all-time hits record, Mr. Brent Smith, is sitting at first base now for the softball team as a coach, and he's the all-time hits leader. But this guy is tracking him down. I think he's at number 43 away, if I'm not mistaken, something like that. So 43 hits away. Nobody expects you to go get 12 of what you needed. You know, you went in, needing 54,
something
55
like
for the lead. So you're obviously trying to track down Mr. Brent Smith, somebody that you played with. Mm-hmm. I mean, he's only been on the program for 2 years. You've been with the program for all of your playing career. So as you think about that, what does that mean? You're preparing to track down Mr. Brent Smith.
Yeah, it's definitely special. When I got here as a freshman, Brent kind of showed me the reins of how everything's done at the program, and just to be able to be in the position to break that record means a lot to me.
I think it's 208, 203, 208 I think is the record, so that's what you're clashing in on. What's ironic is on the softball field, Claire Buckley, she's 3 away from breaking the all-time softball record, so a very high probability that she does that this weekend.
Yeah.
And you'll only be a couple weekends behind, and you'll be, mid-year probably we'll be talking about that you're the new hit king. Mm-hmm. So I think it would be ironic if Claire gets a hit in the game, and it's a single, and so she's shaking hands with Brent Smith at first base, and then you got the all-time hit leaders. And then, of course, you're going to break Brent's heart by breaking his record here in a little bit. So who talks about that record? Do you talk about that record to come in, or is that just something that we talk about, we being broadcasters and social media type people?
I don't really talk about it too much. I just know that it's there, and I'm just sticking to what makes me good, and just if it happens, it happens. I'm just going to keep doing what I do. And in the end, the results are going to be on the field.
Well, the results were on the field. Again, putting up 373 batting average. And by the way, you scored, how many runs is that? 53 runs in 4 games. That's kind of getting it done right there. Hard to beat if you're putting up that kind of numbers. We'll switch sides for the moment, and we'll go to Mr. Quinton on the end there. A lot of people call you RQ from what I'm told.
Yes,
At least
sir.
the guy in the back calls you RQ.
Yes,
So
sir.
I saw you I was out there on Thursday night, and so I saw you come in and play third base. And I'm like, okay, he's gonna be in the mix for third base. Great, fantastic. And then a little bit later, the next, I think it was Friday, you got the save, and I went, wait, he was playing third base. So you're one of those multi-talented, multi-facet players that Coach Mack has in his program. And I asked you as we were on off air, are you a pitcher that plays third base, or are you a third baseman that pitches? Which is it?
My whole life I've always played the field, so I'd like to consider myself as a hitter that pitches as well. But I'm also a pitcher that hits. So.
All right, I like it. No true answer. Just go with it.
Yeah.
So for you, your highlight of the weekend was a 2 2/3 effort where you picked up the save, first save of the season for the Firestorm. Walk me through that outing. What's going through your head?
Yeah, I mean, it was the first game that we really had that was kind of close from the beginning. And Coach just kind of came up to me in one of the earlier innings, and he just said, if it stays here and the score stays close, I need you to be ready at the end of the game. And we got a few guys hot towards the end. J-Ram picked us up with a 3-run double in, I think, the 6th inning, and that kind of put me in position to get ready to go. And my mission was just to come in the game and throw strikes and get guys out. That's kind of what I think about when I go to the mound. I'm not really thinking about a whole lot besides just going there and just focusing on making the next pitch, throwing strikes, and getting guys out. That's kind of what I thought about.
All right, big weekend for you guys coming. You get to travel all the way across the southern part of the country and head on out to Florida. There'll be a couple of ranked teams there to meet you, Southeastern being one of them when you get there. So tell me about that trip. Guys, what do you have planned? I know you're playing 4 games, and I think 3 of them are ranked. So it's going to be a big test of a weekend. And, if you have a great success, which you could very well, you're going to be putting yourselves on the NAI map of, hey, ACU Baseball is here to play this season. So tell me about what you guys are excited about the trip coming this week.
Yeah, so we leave tomorrow, and I think it's just going to be really exciting. We haven't really gone on a ton of trips that are super far out of state, at least since I've been at ACU. So we're already a really close team. We think we all consider each other brothers. So I think it's going to be good for all of us to continue to get together and get closer. And we're going to play against a lot of really good teams that are all ranked higher than we are, but we don't consider them to be any better than we are. I think that we're going down there to win games, and that's kind of our mission. So, yeah, I'm ready to go. Excited.
Justin, what about you? Trip coming up to Florida.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I mean, these games have been circled on my calendar for a long time, and today we kind of stressed at practice, like, this is a business trip. Like, even though that we're in a fun state, like, we're going there to handle business and ultimately knock off the number 1 team in the country.
Well, that would be quite a chore if you guys could manage to pull that one off. Any plans to go see, like, Gator World or anything while you're in Florida, or is it just straight baseball?
We go wherever the van goes, so wherever Coach takes us.
All right, well, I have to talk about trying to get you guys to Gator World. I know that's an exciting adventure in and of itself. But I know you're from Seattle, Washington, correct?
Yeah.
And let's talk about, I think you're in year 3 here with us, correct?
Yeah, this is my 3rd year.
Okay. Year 3, came from Seattle. What brought you to the desert?
A little bit of sunshine, maybe.
Okay.
I went to junior college up there and lived there my whole life, and I love it up there. But it can be a little gloomy and kind of in the middle of the year. It's nice to get down here, and baseball is really good. Coach Mack, he has connections. He went to school in Oregon, and he's from the Northwest, so he has connections with some coaches that I have growing up. And kind of as soon as I graduated from my JUCO, I just got in touch here, and I thought it was a good place to come.
All right. Well, we're glad you're here. Mm-hmm. Justin, you came from California. Mm-hmm. What brought you to Arizona?
Well, Coach Mack saw me play, and he liked it, and I thought it was a good fit for me and my family. Just for baseball, school, my faith, and I I'm glad that I ended up coming here for sure.
Were you his first signee?
Uh,
I feel like maybe you were, but maybe not.
I would be the second year. I came in.
Oh, I thought
year
I thought you came in with him. Okay, so no, he was already here a year.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought you were his first signee. So as you're thinking about your coaching staff that you work with, obviously as a fielding player and as a pitcher, Riley, you have the opportunity to work with multiple coaches. You've gotten a couple new faces on the squad this year as coaches. What have they done to change your trajectory as a player?
Yeah, I mean, it's always good to see new faces. We've got guys that have been here since before I was here, and guys this year. But I really enjoy the new coaching staff. There's some new guys coming in here and there. Everybody works hard, and everybody shows up every day. And yeah, I mean, I've really gotten to talk more on the pitching side this year with Coach McGill, and he's very smart, and he knows what you have to do to get ready to go. And yeah, I've learned a lot from him this year for sure.
Well, for a guy that was playing, was it last year or the year before? He was still playing in the big leagues.
Yeah, I think it was 2 years.
He probably knows a thing or two about what he's talking about.
Oh yeah.
So, J-Ram, for you, what coach is making an impact for you right now?
I think the addition of Coach Kincaid. He kind of showed up later in the fall, but I mean he played in the big leagues, and just talking through different hitting situations and different processes, and I think that's really helped me mature as a hitter.
Okay. All right. I asked softball. I got to ask you guys. Somebody's going to be the clown on the team. Keep the team light. Who's it going to be?
Well, we got a lot of guys.
A lot of clowns.
Yeah, a lot of clowns on our team, and everybody gets along so well. But I'd say somebody that you can always look for that's going to come and bring some juice to you is going to be Daniel Durazo. Yeah.
Both of you going Daniel Durazo.
Yeah, he's got so many jokes, whatever it is. And he takes everything seriously, but he's a guy that can keep things light.
Well, since I've seen the outcome of him coming through a tunnel after hitting a home run, where did that come from? The little tunnel ceremony you guys are doing now in the dugout.
Yeah, I think that came straight from the heart. I don't know.
That was a spur of the moment thing?
Yeah.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. It's worked, though.
Well, I know he homered, and all of a sudden you guys just kind of formed it and
came gritty and down the line.
Yeah, JD has video of him like popping up right in front of him, so it was kind of a cool experience. As you're thinking about the stretch of the season where you're just getting started and you got a whole lot to go, how do you balance the school life, the baseball life, the outside of those two area life? Those three capacities. How do you guys manage that?
I mean, we guys got to be just on top of everything. Obviously, we're taking classes and traveling to other sides of the country. So just being proactive with your teachers, just getting your work done, is ultimately just so your grades stay up so you can stay on the field and help us win.
Yeah, I think at least for us, like we've all played baseball our whole lives, and it's always a sport that you play a lot, you practice a long time, play a long time. So I think that just naturally puts you in a good position to manage your time well and be able to get your schoolwork done before, because we'll have long doubleheader days where we're at the field 10, 11, 12 hours. And we don't ever really play on Sundays, so I think that's good for us to be able to, get in with God and, be able to get to church each week and focus on our faith.
I like it. Obviously, you guys have the plan behind you of a family probably is there to cheer you on as well. So you got a couple seconds. We're going to wrap it up here real soon, but you got a couple seconds. Your family. We've talked about your coaches. We've talked about your teammates. Let's talk about your family. What do they mean to you guys?
Yeah, I mean, it's incredible the amount of support that they've given me my whole life. I'm sure it is for him as well, but they're always there, and you know that they're always watching, and they don't necessarily really care about the outcomes that you have. Obviously, it's good to have positive outcomes, but it's nice to just have that support system with you wherever you are. And, my family lives in Washington most of the time, but I can feel their support from far away.
Yeah, I mean, my family, everything to me is, man, they're dedicated just as me. They've sacrificed just as much as me I have. And I've had family members at every game all year, so it's nice just to have those familiar faces for when the positive happens and when negative stuff happens, just to have that support. It's made me the person I am today.
All right. Well, guys, thanks for taking the time to be here on the Storm Report. And if it was the bacon and eggs or whatever it was, the fried rice that you had, keep eating it because it worked for you on this past weekend. And you're going to be facing some top-tier teams when you get to Florida. But make sure you find your way to get your egg and cheese and whatever else
Most definitely.
you talked about. And whatever you got going on, Riley, make sure you're finding that as well.
Yes,
so, gentlemen, I wish you the best of luck throughout your season. We hope to be talking about you guys well into the conference tournament, well into maybe even right into postseason NAI tournament. And you guys look like you have the opportunity to do that. You definitely have the bats. You're going to be bringing the bats. And so if you got to outscore them. But again, thanks, guys, for joining us here on the Storm Report. I think that will about do it for this week. We've been great to have on the show Taylor Schleisman and Paul Hayden, the Hamlow Award winners for Arizona Christian this past celebrated yesterday. Coach Maben and Savannah Smith, and these two gentlemen, Quinton Riley on the far left, and Justin Ramirez here immediately. We will have a special episode of the Storm Report coming up on Wednesday. That will be a signing day football party type coach's show. Coach Bone and I will talk about his signing class that will get announced on Wednesday. And then the next show on the regular Storm Report will be the next Monday, a week from today, right here live from the Tower Grill, 6:30 as always. So for everybody here, JD Hamby back there yawning, trying to stay awake on the computer, and for Luke Sanders joining in on the fun tonight, and all of the guests that we've had, have a great rest of your Monday evening, everybody.